Hey boys, welcome back to some more Nrl Supercoach. It's going to be round 12. Round 12, we're approaching Origin, we're approaching the first bye of the season pretty quickly. A lot is happening, and it's going to be the team list discussion and the tips. So there's not, well, actually there is a bit to look at for the team list. It looks like there's 3 big inclusions this week off the rip, but let's have a look. Doggies v Dragons, Thursday night game, absolute blockbuster here. Who looks like, okay, so Jamin Semen is in, backline unchanged, Matty Burton, Hutchison, Hughes, he has been starting. He's been getting like the exact same minutes every week. Kickouts, okay, so Semen is starting. He was obviously named to start last week, but some infection he had, he got ruled out late, or well, early-ish, but he got ruled out, which meant Jacob Preston, well, actually no, Josh Curran started, and Preston stayed on the bench. So, I mean, fuck, dude. Oh, it's actually pretty annoying because I want to pick up Preston, but like I can't get Preston in when he's on the bench. Like, he got a try last week. He scored pretty well, but he got bailed out with a try. He played pretty good minutes, but if he's not starting, you can't get him. Hopefully, his break-even's probably still somewhat high, so he might lose a little bit more cash, depending how many minutes he plays. Surely, I'm just hoping that next week he gets the start, because I really want to bring him in for the coverage and also just a good pod second rower. But if he doesn't get the start, you can't do it. It's not worth it. So fuck, that's really annoying. Why is Semen? I don't understand. What does Semen offer over, Curran and Preston? I don't get it. I really don't get it. But that is what it is. The Dragons, obviously coming off the bye last week. I sort of forgot that they were on the bye. They're sort of a, not to be rude, but they're a bit of a nothing team. I guess, I don't follow them, and also there's not that many relevant players, Supercoach. Obviously, Lomax is relevant. He's obviously on the wing. I'm keen to potentially bring him in. I don't remember his bye schedule. It's probably pretty good because they just came off the bye. So the Dragons probably cover pretty well over the Origin period. So I'll have a look at Zach, but I guess the reason I wasn't going him was because of Origin potential. So maybe wait for next week for Zach, just in case. The rest of the team is as you would expect, I think. Yeah, it's a solid enough team on paper. Honestly, this is a tricky matchup. I'm going to tip the Dogs. They were pretty poor last week. They've been much better this whole year. Defensively, they've been good. I think it's going to be an interesting game, though. The Dragons can come out fired up, but they also cannot. Both these teams are a bit fucking 50-50. But I'll go with the Doggies back at home, coming off a poor defeat last week. I expect them to get one up, but it'll be a tough game. Be a tough game through the middle, I would say. But yeah, we'll go with the Doggies in that one. Next up, we have the Cowboy West Tigers matchup. The old arch rivals here. Another blockbuster for these teams. Fucking Cowboys. Oh my god. You would have thought they had a dream run coming up, and that's why we brought in Drinkwater. That's why Holmes was good. Turns out that anyone coming up against the Cowboys has a dream run because they fucking suck. But Braden Burns keeps the spot. Kyle Felt, he is back in, but dude, how good was Braden Burns? He was incredible. He was incredible on the wing for the Cowboys. Like, the hard carries he did, he was beating the first, and he's always had this ability. Like, he's one of the best movers in the league when he's fit. Like, he's such a good mover. Every one-on-one tackle he was just getting out of. Just first up contact was impossible to stop him. Plenty of carries. Did he score? How many tries did he score? 1, 2? I don't know. He went well, though. He's probably going to be pretty expensive, I would imagine, because I feel like every time he's actually played in the NRL, he's scored well. So I'm expecting him to be pretty expensive, and also the uncertainty with the job. I don't think you could go Braden Burns, but he looked good, so I'm happy to see him there. Surely Felt doesn't fucking replace him, Jesus Christ, but I don't know, we'll see. Vilea continues the spot. I mean, I haven't really looked at Vilea. Obviously, he's a potential downgrade. I think this stage of the year, I'm not looking for someone like a Vilea. So yeah, I think he's one of those guys that I don't think he started that cheap, but probably is one you let go through unless you've got, more trades to work with, or you need cash potentially. Halves forward pack is the same as last week. Helam Lukey, again, interesting, but I don't know. I don't think I can bring him in. I don't like the thing with Lukey. He's still great value, but he's definitely not going to be playing 80 minutes. I mean, for one, he's injury prone. He's coming off another injury. I just don't think they're going to risk playing him for 80 minutes. And they got Finifuyaki on the bench, so it's such an easy replacement, at some point to bring Finifuyaki on. And I mean, the rest of the forwards are middles, so it makes sense that Lukey's not going to play the full 80. The Tigers, okay, so they're missing a few. So Kepaoa is gone. Probably for Papali, I'm guessing. Brett Naden is gone, and Justin Olam. Oh my god, okay, so they got the young guns in. So Declan Casey, who from the Dogs, every time I've seen him, I've thought he looked really good. He's had some pretty very unfortunate head knocks. I feel like every game he's played, he's suffered a pretty nasty head knock. I know in the trial, I think it was I don't know who it was, but it was like a carry off the kickoff. He got absolutely fucking just head clash, just knocked. But I've liked the look of him every time he's actually booted up. So, interesting watch. Also, Josh Folletti, who a lot of Tigers fans really like. He obviously has scored a bunch of tries in the lower grades. But, yeah, interested to see how a couple of the young guys go. Galvin, Sullivan, forward pack. So, yeah, Papali. Okay, so Papali comes back into the back row. And they finally gone with Justin Matamua. Oh, man. Is Matamua finally going to get a chance as a cheapie? Oh, that would be fucking beautiful. Because, I mean, I've talked about it. The Tigers have... I think the Tigers have the best draw after round 13. They cover, I think, pretty much all the games, which is beautiful. But the problem is there's not that many Tigers that are relevant. If Matamua can lock down the spot... I'm a little surprised... I guess they needed a back rower because who was playing in the back row? Oh, it would have been Kepaoa, that's right. Kepaoa would have, I know Seyfarth did a little bit. I guess they needed another back rower, so Papali, he was a potential pickup playing at lock just because he would have had good base and the coverage, but coming off that 130, he's going to make a bunch of cash. Again, I probably don't think he's worth picking up this week, Papali'i. So, yeah, bit of unfortunate timing there for Isaiah. And then, but yeah, Justin Matamua, I've really liked the look of him. I'm surprised he hasn't got a gig earlier. I mean, he's had sporadic games and very few minutes at times, but we'll see how he goes at lock. I don't see him playing massive minutes just with the bench, but we'll see. It'll be a good watch and check his price. Actually, I don't know how many minutes or games he's played this year. Has he played any? Maybe like early in the season he played 1 or 2, but not a lot. I mean, I'm gonna go with the Cows. I'm not even thinking bounce back. I just think, I don't know. Fuck. Surely they've got a little bit too many points for the Tigers, but definitely not confident. Cowboys have been trash, but I think this is a game that they could find a little bit of form with their attack. Just a lot of young guys in the back line. Pretty inexperienced team all around. So surely the Cowboys get up here. They're playing at home. You would expect Seagulls Storm. So I know there's one big inclusion for the Storm, and he provides a very sneaky opportunity. The Seagulls, so Matty Lodge is gone with that bicep rupture. Talatau Kola obviously keeps the fullback spots. The rest of the back line is actually Jason Saab. So he's back. I actually thought he'd be gone for a bit of a stint, but obviously it's probably more of a pain tolerance, that AC injury. So he's named, which I fucking, is it good, bad? I don't know. He's probably a little bit better than Jackson Paulo, so it's probably a good thing. Ruben Garrick obviously still in the centres. Luke Brooks fucking still there. He can't leave my team. He can't leave the Manly team. And Cherry Evans. Carl Lawton's still in for Croker. So Croker's been gone for a while with that head knock, which is obviously not good. Hopefully he is back soon. Forward pack is as expected, and then the bench is as expected as well. The Storm, so yeah, Sua Falongo is for. I mean, there is a slight temptation to jump on Falongo, but I think it's just a little bit of FOMO with Falongo. He looks so good, and like I said previously, he could bust out 100 pretty easily. He went well last week without even scoring tries, but he's just so electric. He's going to get attack. But for me, again, I think it's just worth not getting him in, because you get him in and then you're gonna have to trade him out when Pappenhausen is back. Now, obviously, if you went Falongo a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I think it's a great trade, and you never know. Pappenhausen could be gone for longer. Like, he's obviously had some pretty horrific injuries, and they might just hold him back. But yeah, I think Falongo for me, I think you just gotta hold off. You just gotta hold off on the young kid. But you know, we'll see. You never know. Maybe after the first bye, if it's looking like he's going to keep the spot longer term, you could bring him in, because he doesn't cover round 13, but then he's got an okay schedule for the rest of it. So you could look at that, but yeah, definitely not this week, I think. Rest of the back line, as expected. Wishart. I guess I haven't really talked about Wishart, but Wishart actually firms as a potential pickup. We'll talk more about him when we do the preview. But I don't mind him. And then Jerome Hughes is back this week, which is great news for, Supercoach and the Storm. Again, I think I'm just going to hold off on getting Hughes. He'll have a high break even. He doesn't play round 13, and then you can pick him up in round 14 if he's looking good. So I think I do love the Hughes pickup, but probably not this week. Forward pack, as expected. And then the bench, yeah, as expected. So, I'm going to go with the Storm in this one. It is at 4 Points Park, so the Manly boys are definitely going to play their best footy there, but just without Tommy. And also Lachlan Croker is a big loss as well. Carl Lawton is solid enough, but Croker really he just really enables that defensive line. Like, he's always first man up. He's always just leading the charge. Like, I just think they lose a lot without him there. Very underrated dummy half, Lockie Croker. So I am going to go with the Storm in this one. Next up, we have got the Raiders v. the Roosters. Okay, so this is, a game you would expect a big win from one of these sides. Funnily enough, the Raiders are coming sixth on the ladder, bro. They've done pretty well. Jordan Rapana. Oh, okay. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm somewhat keen on going Rapana as a pod center winger. He looked good and bad last week. He obviously got sin binned. He comes up with some stupid things. He does some great things. He's great for Supercoach. He's at a pretty good price. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to, but I don't hate him. Honestly, I don't hate him. He was goal kicking. Was he goal kicking? He did, right? I'm pretty sure. Oh no, KO Weeks goal kicks, didn't he? Yeah, KO Weeks. Again, KO Weeks potentially cheapy, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's worth doing that in the halves now. But I don't know. It's a tricky one. We'll talk more about the halves, obviously, come preview time. The rest of the back line is as expected. Obviously, Strange and KO Weeks starting to do a pretty good job there, looking pretty dangerous. Emre Gula comes in for Josh Papali'i, who's out. Well, actually, I think Gula started last week anyway, but Papali'i is gone. Hudson Young, Whitehead, Smithies, Starling, Mariota, Mooney, and Peter Holler comes in. The Roosters, unfortunately, fucking Connor Watson, bro. He's like, oh man, I love Connor Watson. He's one of my favorite players. Just continues to get like injuries, but also just fucking weird injury. Like he did his throat. He's got like a throat cartilage problem that he hurt like a while ago as well. Like just such a random injury, but he's gone for like a month, which is such unfortunate news for him. He was honestly a smoky to make Origin, but I mean, if I was picking the team, he would have been my number 14 without a doubt. But we'll see what they do now with that sort of 14 utility role, the Blues. But yeah, Connor Watson gone, which is also a big loss for the Roosters. He has been, personally, I think he's probably been their best player with a couple others, but he's been their best player. Sensational as a lock, dummy half, wherever he plays, he's been sensational. The rest of the backline, obviously Joey Manu comes back in, which is good. Halves as expected. Forward pack. Okay, so Angus Crichton moves... No, not Angus Crichton. Victor Radley moves to the back row and White moves to lock. That's weird. I guess they've dropped Nats or Nats out. Was Nat out? Nat played last week, right? I'm sure. Didn't he? But yeah, Radley moves to the back row, which I don't particularly like, but I don't know. We'll see. He might do a good job. It's probably good for Terrell May. Obviously, there was that fucking drama. I'm not going to talk about the drama with the Roosters. Like, it's just whatever. But, yeah, the bench is Sanders Smith, Egan Butcher, who could... There could be a late switch. Maybe Egan Butcher starts in the back row. Nafu White goes back to the bench and Radley goes to lock. That definitely could happen. And then Spencer and Terrell. I mean, this bench, how it is, it actually is very good for Terrell May if it stays like this. Because White is definitely not going to play 80 minutes of lock. I mean, I wouldn't think so. Radley would play the full 80. But then, yeah, Collins and Hargraves aren't massive minutes. So it is pretty good for Terrell May, actually. I mean, I'm going to go with the Roosters. Again, going with the favourites, but it's just too hard not to go with the Roosters in this one. So, yeah, the Raiders have been good. They've proved a bit of the doubters who thought they would really capitulate after a few injuries. But, yeah, I think this is a bit too tough for them coming into this one against the Roosters, who are flying high. Next up, we got the Sharks v the Panthers. Okay, big game this one. Obviously, unfortunate for the Panthers missing, obviously, Cleary still. So it's not full strength, both these sides. But it's going to be a good challenge for the Sharkies regardless. They look like they're going to be unchanged, I would assume. Tommy Hazelton has been sensational. The forward pack overall has been very good. The bench is where they've really sort of gained momentum. I mean, Jack Williams, very underrated as a player. Talakai, I mean, I think as most people thought, Talakai should move back to the forwards. Fair enough. He's been great in the centres. Like, it's a bit hard on Talakai. He got bloody picked for Origin off the back of playing in the centres. Now, was that the right selection? Probably not, especially the way they used him. But he was one of the best centres in the comp for a good couple, he was great, but I think the way this team balances now, him coming off the bench is like such a huge, just impact play. He can also cover the centers if there's ever an injury. So it just fits nicely. And they got some real power coming off that bench. The Penny Panthers, looks like Luke Garner is out, which is interesting. Paul Alamotti obviously still in for Taylor May. Rest of backline, as expected, Jack Cole, partnering Joe Luai. Forward pack, so Sorensen comes in for Garner. Garner's just out, so that is there must be an injury to Garner. Like he would be on the extended if it was like just a dropping or at least like a relegation, or he might have been on the bench. So it must be like an injury or a niggle maybe for Garner. I don't remember seeing anything, but obviously unfortunate if anyone went like early on Luke Garner. It actually seemed like maybe he was going to keep the spot, and Sorensen was playing like through the middle for a good chunk, but obviously now he's gone with something. And Sorensen starts again. The bench of Laurie, Smith, Henry comes back in, which is good. I mean, I've got him in my team. It's not like a massive inclusion, but it's good. Hopefully get some good minutes. And then Matty Hyes and Huth is there. I mean, I very rarely tip against the Panthers, but I mean, I think this is the game that the Sharkies should win. Like without Cleary, I got to be honest, I have not been a fan of Jack Cole. He is a young kid. Like, I'm not trying to be harsh on him. He's coming into the furnace here, but haven't really been very impressed with Cole. I actually think Luai has played better since like taking more control, but I think their halves are pretty weak at the moment. I think the Sharkies should win this. It's going to be tough, like without doubt, it's going to be tough. And obviously the Panthers coming off a loss last week against a very under-strength Warriors team, which was not on people's bingo card there. But they lost that one, so they're going to be out for vengeance. But I think the Sharkies, I think they should get up in this one. Obviously playing at home as well. I'll tip the Sharks. But the Sharks are due for a loss, and when you're due for a loss and you come up against the Penny Panthers, it's not a good combo, but I'll tip them. I'll tip them in this one. Surely they've got a little bit too much. I think the Panthers, they're still going to defend well, the Panthers, but I just struggle to see where a lot of the points are going to come from with this side at the moment. But we'll see. Panthers have done it many, many times without Cleary. Rabbitohs v Eels, the next Saturday night game. Another absolute blockbuster here. I mean, they're good sides to watch. I don't care. I don't care if they're going shit. They're fun sides to watch. I love seeing Blaze Talangi. Latrell Mitchell, he cops it, but fuck, I love watching him play. I'd be annoyed if he was on my team, but I love watching him play for the Rabbitohs. Okay, so we got a little bit of change. Tane Milne and Michael Cheekham in the centers. Gagai keeps the spot, which is good. I mean, granted, he'll play this week for me. Well, I won't play him, but he'll score this week. Unless he scores a couple of tries, that would be fucking beautiful. But if not, then he is definitely a sell for me next week. But we'll play it by ear. Jack Wine moves into the halves with Cody Walker. So, I mean, that's a call that people have been saying for a while. It's just the fact that they haven't really had any players to play center with all the injuries. So, with a couple of players back, I guess they've gone with the move of Wine and Walker. I don't really know how it's going to affect them. Is it going to help Walker? Like, he'll get his hands on the footy more often. You'd probably lean towards not great for Supercoach Cody Walker, because Wyden has been like a left side dominant player like for the majority, and then Walker more left side as well, but he obviously can roam. I think Walker will definitely bob up on both sides a lot, which will probably be good for Supercoach. I just I don't know. I don't know how the combo is going to work. I think they'll play pretty well, though. I mean, it is Indigenous round, so I actually expect the Rabbitohs to fire up in this one and play a good one. But yeah, One and Walker, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. Hopefully, I mean, if Walker does play more on the right-hand side, that could be beautiful for Jacob Gagai to score a couple of tries. Oh, that would be nice if he could get a couple. In the forward pack, it just is what it is. Jacob Hoss comes back into the back row. Keon Kalamatangi moves to lock, which I don't know. Honestly, he's been fucking rubbish in the back row. So we keep saying like he's a back rower, stop moving him, but he's not really doing the job in the back row. So put him at lock. Just get him fucking running hard, tackling hard, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a good move for him. And then the bench, Mamazulis, Duncan still on the bench. Obviously, Havili and Burgess. So yeah, it's probably not good for Duncan actually with Kalamatangi in lock, because you would expect Keon to play bigger minutes than obviously Havili. So Duncan now probably becomes, just not a pickup. You can't go tell us Duncan now, I think. Then the Eels. So obviously the back line, Blaze to Lungy, the rest of them, Dejan Arce, Dylan Brown. Forward pack, Sean Lane holds his spot. Ryan Madison comes back in, who was a late out last week, and Jermaine Hopgood. So that means, Bryce Cartwright, Makatoa, Offengowie, and Kelman Tuolangi on the bench, which is, I said it last week when I saw the bench. I think this was the same team that was named last week. It was just a late change of Madison out. But I said it last week with Lane is a worry now with Cartwright and Kelman Tuolangi on the bench, both edge back rowers. I don't know. I think I'm just going to hold off on the Lane trade this week. Unless someone... Because again, I'm not going to tell us Duncan. Jacob Preston is still on the bench unless there's a late change. There's no one I'm like, I have to go at the moment. Unless there's someone that pops up. I don't mind trading Lane, but I don't know. I think I'm just going to sit on my hands this week, see what happens with the rotation, and probably just hold him for the buy, I guess, at this point, and then look to trade him. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with the bench. Obviously, also Brad Arthur being fucking sacked as coach, which means fucking Trent Barrett becomes the coach, which is so funny, dude. Oh, it's so fucking funny that Trent Barrett is now in the fucking driver's seat. Oh man, poor old Eels, man, poor old Eels. But is anyone okay? So still no Moses or Gutherson on the extended. They're obviously still not fit to go. I didn't say. Fuck, I don't even know, dude. You know what? I'm going to tip the Rabbitohs in that one. I just think Indigenous round. I mean, you've got fucking the spine of Walker, White, and Mitchell. They're going to have big games. You know they are. And honestly, the Eels, I don't know. What are they going to do? What are they going to do, man? I'm going to go with the Rabbits. I think the Rabbits will get up in that one. Broncos Titans. So the other big inclusion that I saw, Reece Walsh is back, which is great for people that hold. Obviously, I traded him out. I still think it's a good decision. Obviously it's coming up against the Titans. It's a pretty nervous watch. Although the thing is that I fucking go for the Bronx, so I don't really care if he goes massive because I want the Bronx to win. That's the silver lining with not going players from your own team. But then Walsh will play Origin, and then I don't know, with a bit of a niggle, is he gonna back up? I mean, we'll see. Maybe he does back up, and the trade was a bit of a not a bad trade, but maybe not as good as I was hoping. But we'll see. I still think the way the team is balanced, I like the trade that getting him out and bringing in Dom Young and stacking up on sort of centre wingers. I do like the trade still. This game could be a bit of a nervous watch, though, as a non-owner. Katoni Sags is out of this one, so Karapani holds his spot. He was very good on debut. I thought he was excellent. And then Cobbo obviously moves back to the centres. Corey Oates, Mariner, Mayor Madden, forward pack is as expected. Oh, so great news. Obviously, Payne Haas is named. He obviously had that injury. Looked no good for a while there, but then came back on. I don't know. He could be a late omission, but we'll see what happens with Payne Haas. Obviously, good to see him named. Obviously, it's nothing too major. Honestly, fucking Broncos should rest him, and then he shouldn't get picked for Origin. So he can play for the Broncos, man. Fuck Origin. But yeah, the rest of the forward pack is expected. The bench, as expected as well. The Titans, who have they got? So, Keanu Kinney still at fullback. Pereira. Tony Francis comes onto the wing, who's I like the look of Francis. He's a big tackle busting backline play. He's played in the Q Cup for a while. I like the look of him, so he'll be an interesting watch. I mean, the Titans don't cover the buys that well, but could be a potential downgrade if he holds a spot. We'll see what happens. The Titans just have a lot of backline players to cycle through, though, so you never know. Obviously, Aaron Schopp is gone. Did he leave straight away? I know he signed to Manly, but was that like a automatic switch? I think it was, right? Like a mid-season switch. I don't think it was like end of the year. So Shop, I think, is gone, which is, I mean, good for like potential cheapies for the Titans. Kelly, Jojo Fafita moves into the centers, which I actually like. I think fucking Fafita has... I think Jojo can become like an actual gun. Like, I think he has all the fucking potential. Yeah, I can see him really elevating his game. So I actually like him moving into the centers. Big, powerful ball runner. I like it. I actually like it a lot. We'll see how he goes. Chris Randall. Tommy Weaver, the young kid, finally comes in at 7. Randall, obviously, still a 6. Sam Verrills, dummy half, Fodawaker. Pahulu starts. I mean, I guess a cheapie you can watch. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to waste my time with front row cheapies, but you never know. We'll see what happens. Forward pack, as expected, Palacia, Isaac Liu, Aaron Clark, and Stimson. I mean, got to go with the Broncos in this one. I think it'll be a pretty high-scoring game. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Titans put on a few points as well, but I think the Broncos should get this one up. So we'll go with the mighty Broncos in that one. And then the final game, we got the Warriors v the Dolphins. So the Warriors coming off just a victory of the ages, missing a bunch of players, getting injuries during the game, and getting the win over the reigning premiers, the Penny Panthers. So they should be sky high confidence-wise. Obviously, Egan and Leotawa are out. Obviously, Egan, the big one, failing that HIA. So Tane Tupiki obviously stays at fullback. Rocco Berry comes back in. Wait, was he out? Because Pompey obviously played. So, yeah, Berry back in. So, yeah, honestly, that works out pretty well. Berry coming back in for the young guy. Dowlin, Montoya. Klokstad, who actually was really good at 6. I got to be honest. I thought he was pretty good. Like, he missed a couple of chances with good passing, but he did a great job. Like, obviously just a ball running 5'8", but he showed some good skill with ball in hand as well. So I actually think it worked pretty well with him and Tamari Martin in the halves. The rest of forward pack, so still no Tohu Harris, which is still a big loss for them. Tom Ale, Jasvanga, Laban, and Murata Niokora finally comes back. I honestly don't even remember what he was out with, but I feel like he's been missing the whole season. But I do love Murata Niokora. So great to see him back on the bench. Really provides some good punch through the middle or on the edge, where they want to use him. Then the Dolphins. So they got a few players in. The back line is the same. Cody Nikorima, Katoa. Forward pack, Nichols, Bromwich, Marshall King, Felice Kafusi, Ewan Aiken, and Maxi Plath comes back in after that head knock, which is good for owners. I mean, I don't know. Maxi Plath could be a pickup. He'll obviously have a pretty high break even. So if he gets, again, we can see minutes this week, and maybe he's a pickup in round 13 for people that didn't jump on earlier. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have a look at him. So that means, okay, so yeah, Connolly, Lemuelu, Stone, Bromwich, and Kerr. So Lemuelu, I wouldn't be shocked to see Lemuelu start again. I know last week Felice Kafusi moved into the forward or the middle, and Lemuelu started. I mean, I think Lemuelu, he doesn't have to start, but I think he is their best back rower. Like, he's very, very good. I know I was keen on him in Supercoach, and then he fucking... he played like bigger minutes than expected, and he got some attacking stats, so he didn't lose that much cash, and he actually made a bit last week. So I don't know, like again, he's sort of like fucking same as like Jacob Preston. Now he's on the bench again. Like, you can't go him, but I wouldn't be shocked to see a late switch. Even if he does like get into the back row, I don't know if I'm gonna pick him up. I do like him a lot, but probably not worth it at this point. I'm not too sure. But I'm gonna, I don't know. This is a tricky game, honestly. The Warriors were really good. Although, they were good. They weren't really good. I mean, the Panthers weren't great. The Dolphins have been good as well. I mean, they're coming fourth on the ladder. I don't know. This is a tough one. I'm going to go with the Dolphins. I mean, it's a tough game traveling to Auckland, but the team is pretty strong for the Dolphins. Isaiah Katoa is really coming into his own this year. Nick Rima, a good foil. The backline is dangerous. There's a lot of strike. Forward pack is just, a good, solid, just workman forward pack. Yeah, I'll go with the Dolphins. I don't know. We'll see what the Warriors dish up. Is the confidence going to continue? We'll see. Rugby league's a fickle game like that. You get one win and all of a sudden you're back. But they were pretty fucking shocking, before that game. So, does it just switch automatically? Maybe. Maybe not. We'll see. But yeah, I'll go with the Dolphins. I mean, the weighting and loss is still a big one for them. Still no Johnson, obviously. So yeah, we'll go with the Dolphins. But that pretty much wraps up the team list. So a little bit to talk about. There's been a few discussions. Obviously, the big team on the bye there, the Knights. So a few notable players missing. Obviously, your Armstrong, your Kai Pearce-Paul, Marju potentially. There's a couple of important players. So just keep an eye on that. But hopefully you guys are enjoying the content. Make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.